You know the title of our topic today? Who knows the title? It's there. Martha's Teachable Heart. Okay. So, our main focus on this chapter is that famous incident described at the end of Luke 10, where Jesus gave a mild rebuke. Remember? You have the picture there. That's the famous setting where Jesus so kindly rebuked Martha, right? And while Mary was seated at his feet. So it gives us a strong lesson where your priorities should be o to lie, di ba? So from the narrative of Luke 10, Martha seemed to be the elder of two sisters, right? So Luke's description of her behavior is one of the things that supports the idea that these three siblings were all young adults. Okay? So, you think that Martha's complaint was immature and childish. Kaya parang teenager siya na yun ang nireklamo niya kay Jesus, ha? The guest, ha? So, Jesus' reply was a mild rebuke. Don't you think so? Kasi, wait, kasi ginanong pa niya eh. What did Jesus say? Anyone who can remember without looking at your notes? What did Jesus say? Isa-isa lang. May nakalaban. Teka, parati ka na eh. Honor roll ka na eh. What the one here? The lady in blue? Do you remember? Is this your first time here? Okay. Siyempre, hindi niya alam pa. That's why nga nandito eh, di ba? Okay. Sinong nakakasabi? Anong sinabi ni Jesus? With drama ha. Kailangan.
Martha, Martha, why are you so busy? Or why are you so worried
Okay. That's good
about
enough. Okay. Again.
Jesus said, Martha, Martha, you are so busy with so many things.
Okay. Oh, that's another way of saying, why Mary, Mary? Siyempre, ganun ang boses ni Jesus. Kung tayo yon, Mary, Mary, ikaw naman, oo, parera ka reklamador. Hindi ba? Ang sinabi niya, Mary, Mary, you are always anxious. Anxious ka na naman. Martha pala, sorry. Martha, Martha, you are troubled about many things. Hindi ba? So, anong sabi pa niya? But look at Mary, sabi niya, di ba? Ano pa yung sinabi niya? Anong kasunod? Ay, may murmuring, Giselle. Giselle, alam mo yan. What is one thing? One thing is necessary.
Mary has chosen the better portion.
Mary has chosen a better portion.
Okay.
Portion.
Which will not be taken away from her. Okay. Ay, nagluluko siya. Maybe it's the battery. You think so? It's not working. I have to do it manually. I have batteries in my pack, in the black one. Do you think it's a battery? I'll just use this one. Okay. So, what did you notice sa rebuke ni Jesus? Was it harsh? Lovingly, and it was mild, hindi ba? Parang grandfatherly yung tone niya, hindi ba? Kasi, Martha, Martha, andyan ka na naman, trouble ka na naman, hindi ba? Ang dami mong iniisip. Oo, first things first, sabi siguro ni Jesus. So, excited siguro masyado si Martha. 'Di ba? In fact, siya yung nag-invite kay Jesus eh. 'Di ba? Yung kay Lazarus, remember? He even approached him to bring him to the where Lazarus was, hindi ba? Pero may complaint pa din siya. Ba't ngayon ka lang dumating? 'Di ba? Ugali talaga ni Martha ang mag-complain. 'Di ba? Minsan tayo gano'n, 'di ba? She was the one who welcomed, and it was a significant thing to do because makikita na Martha was the one in charge of the household. 'Di ba? Pag ikaw nag-welcome, ikaw yung hostess eh. You will welcome. Pero in contrast, in Luke 7:36-50, we will not go there. When Jesus visited the home of Simon the Pharisee, where the first anointing of his feet took place, and because he was under the scrutiny of his critics that time, so the hospitality was quite poor on that occasion. So Simon did not offer water to wash the feet of Jesus. That was the proper greeting at the time. So it wasn't done that way. So parang it was isnab yun sa culture nila na hindi inoffer ng water, washing of feet si Jesus. Di ba? That is like the washing of a guest's feet in the first century, like offering to take the coat off, yung ganon. Wala naman silang coat, hindi ba? Pero yung washing of the feet is their culture. Okay? So Martha naman, to her credit, was on the opposite range to Simon the Pharisee. Magkaiba. So I just want to let you know yung contrast ng hospitality ng ni Simon the Pharisee, and the hospitality of Martha. She fast over, yun na lang. Okay, thank you. Nasaan na ba tayo? Okay, so, si Martha, parang tayo, di ba? May bisita, excited. Si Jesus ba naman ang pupunta? Oh, parang, kunyari si President Marcos ang pupunta. Di ba kayo ma-elate? Excited kayo? Abala. Di ba? Punong abala kayo. So she fast over her hostessing duties. She wanted to do it right. Di ba? Baka magkamali ako eh. Kailangan tama. Kailangan punta na ako sa kusina. Sabi niya, hindi ba? So parang may pagka-OC. Kayo ba OC? Oh, ako OC. Talagang kailangan malinis muna, tapos ang mga plato, depende sa mood or sa color or sa whatever. Siyempre yung kailangan ayos, hindi ba? No. Would you think she was a conscientious girl or woman and a considerate, hospitable girl? Di ba? So these were admirable traits sa kanya, no? Much in her behavior was commendable. And don't you love the way Jesus came across? Jesus was a behave and perfect house guest. Siyempre naman, hindi ba? He instantly made himself at home. Kasi magkakakilala na sila eh. Dati na silang magkakakilala. So pag ganun, hindi ba? Pag may guest kayo, feel at home. Hindi ba? Hindi yung magpapaalam ka, pwede bang umupo dito? Ganon. Hindi ganon, di ba? Feel at home, di ba? Of course, you welcome your guest. Oh? So, he also enjoyed the fellowship and the conversation that was going on. We don't know exactly what the conversations were. Di ba? So, for sure, his contribution to the discussion was very instructive and enlightening. Si Jesus pa. Hindi ba? Okay. So Mary's instinct was to sit, no? Was to sit at his feet and listen. But Martha, ever the fastidious one, went right to work with her preparations. So, nag-i-start yung kanilang pagkakainisan. Di ba kung minsan ganun? nagkakainisan ka, ba't ako na lang parati dito? Yung mga ganyan, sa loob lang yun, di ba? So in the long run, Martha grew irritable with Mary. Can you imagine the exasperation that developed? Nag-elevate ang kanyang nainis na siya kay Mary. So, she probably wanted to hint that she needed help by making extra noise. Dadabog siya, nag-iingay dun sa pots and pans para mapansin siya. Di ba? Or Martha might have cleared her throat. Hello. O kaya, he exhaled so many times loudly enough to be heard in the next room para marinig ba? Di ba? Sa next room. Anything to remind Mary that her sister is expecting a little help. Yung bang ganon, di ba? Yung hindi pa narinig, intent naman si Mary. Siyempre si Jesus yan, ikaw ba naman? Hindi ba? So, yun ngayon, when all that failed, walang nangyari sa mga actions niya, she tried to peek around the corner kung ano na bang ginagawa ng dalawa. Di ba? And tapos naglakad-lakad pa siya doon through the dining room hoping to catch Mary's eyes. Tumingin ka dito, Mary, para makuha ka sa tingin. Parang ganoon, hindi ba? But in the end, she gave it all up already. Yung pretense na okay na lang. So, pinuntahan na niya si Jesus. Di niya na matiis eh. So, confronted the grievance to Mary right in front of Jesus. Anong sinabi ni Mary? Sino naka-memorize? Ha? I mean, ba't ako Mary ng Mary? Martha! Anong sinabi ni Martha? Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me, nagmakaawa siya doon, to serve alone. Tell her to help me, sabi niya ganoon. Hindi ba? Yun ang words. Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. Di ba parang disrespectful yun? Tapos kaya nga ang sabi ni Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Di ba? Ang sabi niya. So, do you think Jesus' reply, nabulabog ba si Martha? Startled Martha? Was she startled? It didn't even seem to have occurred to her that she might be in the wrong. Hindi na naisip na medyo, baka ako ang may mali. Hindi ba yung ganon? So, isipin natin, nagrereklamo na siya, hindi ba? So, there are three lessons we can derive from these observations. Lesson number 1, the preference of others to others over self. Jesus' gentle admonition to Martha is first of all a reminder that we honor others over ourselves. You know that, right? Scripture says, be kindly affectionate to one another. Walang PowerPoint? Okay. Be kindly, everybody read, so that it will be in your heart too. In honor, giving preference to one another. That's in Romans 12:10. Another one is, be submissive to one another and be clothed with humility. For God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. That's 1 Peter 5:5. The last one is, Philippians 2, let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but on lowliness of mind, let each esteem each other's better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but in the interests of others. So, humility has been a constant theme in Jesus' teaching. And it's a difficult lesson for most of his disciples and even for us, don't you think so? Hindi ba? So in Luke's account, Martha's external behavior at first appeared to be through servanthood. Di ba? Servanthood yun eh. Yung busy ka sa kitchen, you're doing something, hindi ba? Yun. She was the one who put the apron first and went to work in the task of serving others. Hindi ba? But her treatment to Mary soon revealed a serious defect in her heart, in the servant's heart. She allowed herself to be what? Sharp-tongued and sarcastic. Di ba sarcastic yon? Yung pagkasabi niya noon. So, you don't say that to a guest. Di ba? Kasi may-humiliate si Mary, yung kapatid mo. So, Martha either gave no thought to the hurtful effect of her words to her sister, or maybe she didn't care about it. Basta kailangan magawa lang niya, ay gusto lang niya mapapansin siya ni Jesus, hindi ba? So furthermore, Martha was wrong in her judgment of Mary. So she thought all the way Mary was lazy. Don't assume that a person is lazy just because she's not helping you in the kitchen. Romans 14:4 says, "You who are you to judge another servant? To his own master, he stands for all." Or all. Yan. Mali ata, no? Do you think that Martha imagined that Mary was her servant? No. Mary's true master was Jesus Christ. Right? Christ, he was serving Jesus Christ as the master. So Mary is not master to Mary, to Martha. Ah, hello, tongue twister. So in reality, Mary was the one whose heart was in the right place. Don't you think so? Her motives and desires were more commendable than Martha's. But Jesus knew it already because He knew the hearts of both of them eh. Alam na niya eh. Kung anong gagawin ni Martha, alam na niya. He can read between the behavior and the lines. Did you think that Martha's behavior was subtly sinful? Was it human pride that corrupt even the best of our actions or intentions? Do you think Martha, what she was doing was a bad thing? You think so? Because she was waiting for Christ's guest, di ba? So, medyo may pagka-anxious. Anxious siya sa mga darating na bisita. But the most important visitor was Jesus Christ. In the very practical and functional sense, Martha was acting as a servant to all, just as Christ so often commanded. She no doubt began with the best of motives and noblest of intentions. She had good intentions, no doubt about it, di ba? And her action was noble also. Sino ngayon magluluto? Anong makakain? Kung sa bagay, palagay ko hindi naman gutom si Jesus. Di ba? Hindi nagugutom. Or anyway, but the moment she stopped listening to Christ, her perspective became very self-centered. Di ba? Her service to Christ became tainted with self-absorption. Paloob eh. Di ba? Yung ba't ako parate? Hindi porke ako ang eldest dito. Di ba? Dapat nga yung mas younger ang nautusan, doon ka sa kusina, di ba? So, Martha was showing an attitude of sinful pride that made her susceptible to other kinds of evil as well. So when you do like that, when your attitude becomes that way, you have anger, resentment, jealousy, distrust, critical spirit, judgmentalism, and unkindness. Di ba? All of that flared up in Martha in a few minutes. One flash of the eye, nagawa niya lahat yung sinful na yon, kumbaga yung mga respectable sins na yon, hindi ba, without her knowing. But Jesus knew what was he doing. What was his first inclination? Was it to respond or to react? Nag-react siya agad hindi ba? So, that's lesson number 1. What's lesson number 1? Huh? Of others than self. So, lesson number 2, a priority of worship over service. So, in the real sense, Martha's feelings were natural and somewhat understandable. Diba? That may be one reason Jesus' rebuke was so mild. In normal circumstances, any older sister would think it is obligatory for a younger sister to help in serving a meal to a guest. Diba? So in other words, what Martha expected Mary to do was okay naman. Was fit and good. Okay naman yun that somebody attended to Jesus. Diba? And who's gonna prepare the food for that matter? So, nevertheless, Mary was better still. It was better what she was doing, right? She had chosen the good part. She had discovered one thing needful. What is it? True worship. Do I have the PowerPoint? True worship and devotion of one's heart and full attention to Christ. Wala. Anyway, that's the higher priority. Even more so than service. And the good part she had chosen will not be taken away for the sake of something as gracious and beneficial as helping Martha prepare Jesus a meal. Mary's humble, obedient heart was a far greater gift to Christ than Martha's graciousness. So, it is important to serve Him first than to serve others. That is what is saying? Oh, there it is. The established worship is the highest of every Christian. Okay? Everybody read me. This establishes worship as the highest of all priorities for every Christian. We must never allow our service for Christ to crowd out our worship to Him. The moment our works become more important to us than our worship to Him, we have turned our spiritual priorities upside down. Of course, you know what is our first priority, right? Can anybody say what is our first priority? God. Husband, for those who have husbands. Ministry is the last, right? So, good deeds, human charity, and acts of kindness are crucial expressions of real faith, but they must flow from a true reliance on God's redemption and His righteousness. In Scripture, the focus of our faith is always on what God has done for us, never what we do for Him. Remember that? That's in Romans 10, 2-4. It's not there. So, you would say that Martha loved the Lord. Her faith was real. Was her faith real? But by neglecting the needful thing and busying herself with mere activity, she became spiritually unbalanced. So Martha's heart, she was harsh with Martha. Martha was harsh towards Mary. So na-expose yung kanyang imbalance sa heart niya. Hindi ba? So worship is the one thing most needed. Service to Christ must always be subordinate to that one. So lesson number 3, the primary of faith over works. Okay? The third vital spiritual principle goes hand in hand with the priority of worship over service and is so closely related to it. Martha's love serving was a distraction. His serving, his over being a hostess was a distraction, became a distraction. That's in Luke 10:40. From the one thing that was really needed, listening to and learning from Jesus. What we do is vital, right? Because that is the evidence that our faith is living and real. But faith must come first and is the only viable or doable foundation for trust and true, lasting good works. So all that is wrapped up in the truth that works are not the instrument of justification. Faith is the one. So human instincts tell us that what we do more is important than what we believe. Di ba? Mas nakikita ng tao yung ginagawa natin kesa what we believe. So it is totally wrong way of thinking. It's a wrong way of thinking if we do things more for ourselves, for Jesus, than what we believe. So we must never think more highly of our works for Christ than we do of His works on our behalf. Do you think such a thought would consciously enter Martha's mind? Papasok ba sa isip niya yon? Busy siya sa kitchen? Na, kailangan mag-worship muna ako bago mag-service. Hindi ba? Hindi niya mabalance eh. So she loved Christ, yes, and genuinely trusted Him through her faith and moments of weakness. So as the story goes, she allowed her anxiety about what she must do for Christ to overwhelm her gratitude over what He would do for her. Can you identify with Martha? Who can identify with Martha? Bay, wala. Mga Mary lahat. Okay? It can happen to many of us. It is tempting at times to become swept by the activities of ministry and forget that faith and worship must always have priority over work. Right? So in these hectic times, we need to cultivate more of Mary's, did I get it right? Mary's worshipful, listening spirit and less of Martha's unceremonious fasting. Does Martha and Mary remind us that God uses all kinds of people? Does, no? Would you agree that God has gifted us differently for a reason? And we are not to despise one another or look at others with contempt. Just because we have differing temperaments or contrasting personalities. We cannot judge. Each one have its own personalities and temperament, di ba? Therefore, I have 7 attitudes of humility. Would you like to know that? Okay. First PowerPoint, you are aware of your need for God's grace and ask Him for humility. So in Hebrews 4:14 it says, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession, for we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in all things as we are, yet without sin. Therefore, let us draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, so that we may receive mercy and find grace in the time of need. Humility does not come naturally to us, to sinners. Does it come naturally? Hindi eh. Depends on the circumstances sometimes, right? So therefore, we must supernaturally ask help that we come only from God. that can come only from God, the help that only comes from God. If you think you want to have more humility, just as Christ have, is humble. So as you go through the day, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, talk to the Lord aloud or in your mind. 'Di ba? Better in your mind, aloud pag mag-isa ka lang. Kasi pag nag-aloud ka with the crowd, titingnan ka ng tao, 'di ba? Ano nangyayari sa kanya? So each time you are tempted or to respond in pride, simply ask Him for mercy and His grace to help you. Tell Him, Lord, this is one of my times of need. Ito kailangan ko talaga kasi hindi ko alam kung paano ko pakikisamahan itong taong ito. Di ba? Not all are uh, simpatiko, kumbaga. Yung iba antipatiko, hindi ba? Yun. So number 2, you immediately think, God, show me where I am wrong, instead of thinking, I am right and I can prove it. Di ba sometimes, ganyan tayo? Tama ako, believe me. Yung mga may ganyan pa. But James 4:10 says, humble yourselves in the presence of the Lord and He will exalt you. Di ba? Yun lang yun. Just memorize this verse. Number 3, you have the attitude of, teach me. Hindi yun, I know all I have to know. Di ba? Teach me. Hindi yun, alam ko na yan. I know all I need to know. Tapos in Psalm 119, it says, teach me, O Lord, the way of your statutes, and I shall observe it to the end. Give me understanding that I may observe your law and keep it with all my heart. That's in Psalm 119, 33 and 34. Have you tried to teach somebody and they would only say, I know, I know. Di ba? Maraming ganun, di ba? May sinasabi ka, tapos, alam ko na yan. I know. Ganyan pa, may sarcastic pa siya sa mata. I know. Yung ganun, di ba? And then proceed to do it wrong. Di ba? Mali naman. Yung ganun. It is very difficult to teach someone something if they are proud and will not listen. Di ba? So proud people are not teachable. Remember that. They won't listen to anyone who knows more about the subject that they do. And more so, they won't listen to God either. The humble man, on the other hand, has the attitude of the Psalms, of the psalmist, who beg God to teach him and give him understanding. Number 4, you think of others' feelings and needs, not, what about me? Paano naman ako? Yung ganon. Di ba? The next verse says, do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own, but for the interests of others. Philippians 2. So all of us are selfish to one degree or another. Would you agree? Di ba? We naturally think of ourselves first and not of others. Di ba? Is that true or not? Oo, automatic yun eh. Di ba? Yun. So number 5, you give God the credit for your achievements and salvation. You do not think, look what I have done. Ano sabi ni Lord? Thus says the Lord, let not a wise man his wisdom, and not let a mighty man boast of his might. Let not a rich man boast of his richness, but let him who boast of this, that he understand and knows me, that I am the Lord who exercises loving kindness, justice, and righteousness on earth. For I delight in these things, declares the Lord. Some people are braggarts, di ba? They brag about their education, Oh, magna cum laude. Kui daw, mas marunong ako sa'yo. Yung ganun ba? So, tapos they will say, naku, ang hirap talaga. They will talk about how hard they work in school, their job, how successful they are at work, how much money they make. They may say or think, look, how hard I've worked and what I have achieved. Di ba? That's not humility. Let people, makikita naman ng tao sa ginagawa mo that you have a gift of mercy, you have the gift of giving. Hindi na kailangan mag-boast pa kung ano yung pinag-aralan mo, anong natapos mo or something. Di ba? So number 6, we're now in number 6. You are truly worshiping God, not merely going to the motions of religious pretense. Luke 18 says, what did Jesus say? Jesus said, 2 men went up into the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and one a tax collector. You know this already. The Pharisee stood and was praying this to himself, God, I thank you that I'm not like the other people, swindlers, unjust, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I pay tithes of all I get, of all that I get. But the tax collector, standing some distance away, was even unwilling to lift up his eyes to heaven, but was beating his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, the sinner. So this man went to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but he who humbles himself will be exalted. Yon. Do not be braggarts. Okay, you know that already. I know, hindi naman kayo ganon. Ang takot nyo lang. Okay, Lord. Okay, the last one is, you are willing to suffer humiliation and embarrassment for Jesus' sake, even if you are never vindicated in this life. 1 Peter 4:14-16 says, if you are reviled for the sake of Christ, you are blessed because the Spirit of glory and of God rests on you. Make sure that none of you suffers as a murderer or thief or evildoer or troublesome meddler, but if anyone suffers as a Christian, he is not to be ashamed, but is to glorify God in this name. Therefore, those who suffer according to the will of God shall entrust their souls to one faithful Creator in doing what is right. Okay? So those are just the review on how we will act with humility with others. Di ba? Is God helping you or opposing you? Helping, syempre. Nothing else will be right, and none of our attitudes will be pleasing to God if you are proud and unteachable. Di ba? It will not be pleasing to Him kung proud ka. So, in closing, we have 3 applications to take to heart. Okay? Number 1, we can serve the Lord in different ways, whether in the tiny act of a meal prepared for or the costly sacrifice of a lavish gift. 2, we must watch out for busyness, making sure we are not too bothered and bogged down in the details of our work that we fail to worship the Lord. Number 3, we must call upon Jesus, our first and primary source of strength when we face crisis and tribulation. Do you do this when you have trouble or crisis? Who do you go to? Do you go to your mother? No. Do you go to the bank and borrow? Hindi. You go to Christ first. You have to include God in all your decisions. Di ba? Always. if it is the right one. So, okay. In closing na talaga. So, Martha was a noble and godly woman with a servant's heart and a rare capacity for work. But Mary was a nobler still, no? With an unusual predisposition for worship and wisdom. Both are remarkable in their own ways. If we weigh their gifts and their instinct together, they give us a example to follow. Wonderful example to follow. Right? So what is our admonition? May we diligently, is it there? Wala eh. May we diligently cultivate the best instinct of both of these extraordinary women. Okay? Thank you very much.